Hello fellow old schoolers, and welcome to this battle between Twiddle-Vault and the blue and white mid-range deck. And we've seen both of these decks before on this channel. I faced the Twiddle-Vault deck in the first round of the Swiss in this tournament, and the mid-range deck has faced off against the winner of Domenia Day, the Power Monolith deck. But they have never played against each other before. The background for this particular match is the tail end of the Swiss of the tournament, and both of these decks has done very well. They're both very, very tight and strong, but neither didn't quite make it into the top 8. So this particular match is a fight over who gets to be at the 9th place and who will get at the 10th place of the tournament. And the winner of this particular match will win a 4th edition Mana Vault signed by all participants on this tournament as like an extra little souvenir for this tournament. So there's a lot to play for here. Let's go over the deck with some deck text here. And the owner of the blue and white mid-range deck was kind enough to send me this deck picture over Messenger. So there's a bit of a glare, but it's fine. We can make out what's here. First of all, it's blue and white primarily. Oh, that's really the colors it has. And we could call it skies actually, because all the creatures fly. It has a heavy aggro element with those 4 Serendipity Freaks, 4 Serra Angel, and a Mahamoti Jin as a top curve drop. And we also have those Azure Drakes. And I've mentioned those before. They're quite the meta creature here, as they will overpower Hypnotic Spectres and they will block Serendipity Freaks, and they can't be bolted easily. They're 2/4 flyers, and it's that 4 in toughness that makes all the difference. The removal package is a full playset of Swords to Plowshares, and we also have Sonic Blasts, a single mana drain and a counterspell, it seems, for the control package. And there's that moat to block all the opposing ground forces. The deck is fully powered with 5 Moxen, a Black Lotus, and the 3 blue power cards. There's also a single Yimday Tome for extra card advantage, so it resembles quite a bit the control aggro variant or skies variant. Very, very solid deck. There's this single card that is a bit very unorthodox, those Glasses of Ursa. We can use that to look at the opposing player's hand and watch what he should remove or counter, and how the other guy will play. It's a very cheap way to get intel on the other guy. It's very good when you have a control deck, I think, but this is a bit less controlish than I imagined when I saw it in the first match, and it's actually way more aggressive and aggro focused instead. So much for this tech. Its sideboard options are here. We have the Presence of the Master against enchantment decks, a couple of control magics, a Karma against mid-range and against black players, also a Circular Protection black, a couple of Divine Offerings and a Hercules Recall against all the artifact mana or artifact decks out there. And there's that Acid Rain that's pretty nifty against green players. It destroys all forests in play. Very rarely seen, but it's very spicy, I think. A couple of Black Wises against control decks, I imagine, and Blue Blasts against red. And finally, there's that Tawna's Crypt, a very unusual card, but it can be good against Reanimator, the Reanimator archetypes, and Tropical Twister will be very nasty against him. And also, I guess, it's very good against Twiddle-Vault as well, because he relies on his recalls and regrowths to get his Twiddles back into his hand. So yeah, you can also like deck the Twiddle-Vault with this Tawna's Crypt, because the Twiddle-Vault will draw so many cards, and he relies on his Time Twister in order to get his graveyard back in. But without a graveyard, yeah, he'll run out of cards. It's actually a pretty nice sideboard card in this particular matchup. I wonder if he'll put it in his deck after round 1. And that is the setup here. Rounding up a very, very strong archetype with some very original tweaks to it here and there, both in the main deck and in the sideboard. Let's see what the Twiddle-Vault has to offer. So here is the Twiddle-Vault, a lot of artifacts and a primarily blue and green deck with a splash of red and a splash of black, mainly for Fireball, Wheel of Fortune, Demonic Tutor, Mind Twist. And the play with this deck is to get Time Vault out with a bunch of Howling Minds and then using Twiddle to untap the Time Vault and just continue going like that, recalling the Twiddles, drawing into even more Twiddles until you get so many turns in a row that you can just finish the game either with the Fireball or with the Brain Geyser. It has all the bells of Whistle and Whistles being fully powered, and has some counter magic as well, a couple of counter spells and a mana drain, but otherwise there's only that single Chaos Orb in order to defend itself. Hurkle to recall that copy artifact, mana short, and that transmute artifact rounds out the deck. And the Silver Libraries helps it drawing into the Twiddles or whatever it needs. In general, this type of deck is very, very focused. It doesn't rely that much on defensive measures apart from those counter spells. And this is because it can usually go infinite at about round 4 or 5. In the Swedish meta, this archetype has become quite the powerhouse actually. And the only reason why he's not in the top 8, I think, is because he's just stepped on every landmine that he could get near. And that means myself with my Underworld Dreams and a mono black deck with a full play set of Underworld Dreams and other kinds of deck that just ping him, and those are the things that will annoy him the most. So it'd be interesting to see if the blue and white deck can make the kill before the Twiddle-Vault goes infinite. Let's see what will happen. So we have Twiddle-Vault on the left here, and with blue and white mid-range on the right. And that's the 4th edition Mana Vault they're playing for, I think. That hand is from the Forest Tricks deck, I think. He was one of the guys making this tournament, and yeah, back to the game. Okay, strong starts on both sides here. Library of Alexandria coming out from the Twiddle-Vault deck, getting Sonic Blasted straight away. So it appears that the blue and white deck, he knows what he's against here. He knows that there are no creature targets for those Sonic Blasts, and he might as well try to rush the other guy down. Okay, 3rd Tundra coming out. And a Mana Vault from the Twiddle-Vault here. Disenchanting the Mana Vault, that makes sense. It needs to hold him back. And the less mana he has, the more difficulties he will have in going off and getting all his artifact mana out and going infinite. Okay, Mind Twisting for 2 here. Trying to rob him of some of his steam. Ace of Ith and Sonic Blast, not the greatest picks actually. Just needs a creature out. He's really on the clock here, but I think his strategy with disenchanting the mana production of the Twiddle-Vault deck is the correct one here. Sonic Blasting him again. And there's a Drake coming out. Okay, trying to draw a card as a counter spell. He could counter it. He also has a mana drain in hand. I think he should counter it. And then Ancestral, there's a lot of cards on the Twiddle-Vault here. Then mana draining it. Now he can use it to get additional speed, additional mana for all his cards. He has 4 colorless mana at this point. Dropping a Howling Mine and a Chaos Orb. And another card from that Library of Alexandria. There's a Mana Vault. I'm not sure how he pays for that. Oh, it wasn't a Howling Mine, it was a Mox Jet, sorry. Okay, so he still has a single colorless mana left in the pool. No Howling Mine. But he can defend with that Chaos Orb. Now, attacking with a Factory, and he Chaos Orbs it straight away, okay. Twiddle-Vault is really strong at this point, regrowthing the Ancestral Recall. And then discarding the Hercules Recall, passing the turn. Another factory coming out here. Passing the turn, and in his end step, there's both a draw from the Library of Alexandria and then an Ancestral Recall. So that's 4 cards before the draw step, 5 cards in for the Twiddle-Vault. I think this, yeah, he should be able to go off pretty soon, I think. Island hitting the table. Has a Demonic Tutor in hand as well. Okay, there's the vault. So I suppose we'll start to see the magic now. Yeah, twiddling the vault, taking another card. It's a Wheel of Fortune. Then Demonic Tutor. I wonder what he'll get here. Oh, a Howling Mine, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, so using the Mana Vault for that, I think, and then taking the second turn. Twiddling it again in his end step. And then next turn, taking a damage from that tapped Mana Vault and getting a bunch of more cards from the Howling Mine. He needs a lot of Howling Mines now. Okay, second one, drawing in. Sol Ring, okay, even more mana. He has a recall now, so you can... Okay, copy artifact on another one. Tapping... Yeah, so there's 3 Howling Mines now, tapping the vault. Taking even more damage from that Mana Vault though. He needs to untap that at some point. Okay, he asks if the other guy wants to concede here. Showing his hand, a couple of Sylvan Library. Okay, he will sacrifice the Mana Vault for something else. Probably another Howling Mine. He has a recall in hand as well. Just to get the Twiddles in. Okay, so blue, white, mid-range forfeits the game here, and they'll go into their sideboard, and we'll see if the blue-white mid-range deck can get anything out here, if he can make the kill in time. We'll see. Twiddle-Vault is, this version of Twiddle-Vault is very, very tight and very, very fast. Let's have a halftime break. Okay, we are ready to go for the second round of this match. After sideboard between Twiddle-Vault and the blue-white midrange. Twiddle-Vault is actually mulliganing down to 5 cards here. He can do this as a combo deck. The new mulligan rule really helps him here. But yeah, 2 mulligans is pretty nasty actually. Okay, I can't see what that is. City of Brass into a Blackwise. Okay, that won't really do him that much good after he has mulligan that much. He probably sideboarded those Blackwises in though against the control deck. Okay, Time Vault hitting the table, getting immediately offered to the guards here. Okay. It lets the mid-range deck a couple of life. He has used on that City of Brass. There's a land tax sitting in the table. Twiddle-Vault doesn't care, he doesn't have time to hold his mana back or his lands back because he needs all his mana out as fast as possible. It is dangerous though because now the mid-range deck can siphon some mana out of his deck, getting a soft card advantage. The odds of him drawing anything usable is bigger now. Okay, disenchanting the Sylvan Library. Really aggressive with all that removal here. Doesn't want the Twiddle-Vault to really get in. Okay, recalling the Sylvan Library. He kind of insists on it. Now he uses the land tax again. He hasn't played any lands, so now he can continue to just siphon basic lands out of his deck here. So he's sufficiently mana fixed, and the odds of him drawing creatures is that much bigger. Factory hitting the table, and now, oh, that's a Drake. Okay, really trying to get the aggro going here. Sylvan Library coming out a second time. Was that recalled one? And a Mana Vault. He has a single card in hand, Twiddle-Vault here. So he would likely try to trade some life to get more cards out, but will he have the time? There's a Serra Angel coming out. There's a bunch of damage next round. 9 points of damage with that factory. So I wonder what he dug for with that Sylvan Library. There's some Time Vault. Okay. And then wheeling with the City of Brass. Okay, yeah. So now he needs to twiddle. He really needs to scramble to get stuff going here. Did he draw a twiddle? That's the question as amongst yet. Another mana vault. Getting a Library of Alexandria out. Howling Mine. Copying the Howling Mine from the last colors. And there's a twiddle. Okay, excellent, excellent. Very tightly played. That Twiddle-Vault deck, if he gets an opening, it goes so fast. Okay, so he twiddles the vault and then starts to untap one of the mana vaults here. Then uses the Time Vault to get another turn, drawing 3 cards with those 2 Howling Mines, and he has a Sylvan Library. A couple of Red Blast and another Howling Mine. He can Red Blast the Drake, I suppose, but that Serra Angel will... Yeah, it's a real headache for him. He needs to draw into another Twiddle at this point. Okay, he pays 4 life to hold an extra card with the Sylvan Library. Another Howling Mine coming out. Black Lotus, okay. Then passing the turn. I wonder why he doesn't use the black... Oh yeah, he wants to... okay, he wants to use that mana short now in the upkeep of his opponent, I think. What? Oh, okay, the other guy reminds him about the black wise. He should take some damage with that black wise. But he really shouldn't. I don't think he had that many cards in hand if that was what's going on here. Anyway, he tries to mana short the other guy so he can Red Blast the Drake, but that's a Sonic Blast hitting him. And it was too fast. Next turn, the creatures will attack him, and that's game. So it's 1-1 at this point. A very, very aggressive mid-range deck now after sideboard with all those black wises and creatures. So let's get to the 3rd round here. Final round of this set, and these wizards battle for the mana vault here, the signed mana vault. Okay, Twiddle-Vault is mulliganing down to 5 cards again. At least those black wises won't touch him as much, but still, it's kind of brutal to start like that. I wonder if Midrange will have another black wise. It will be quite annoying for him. Useless card. Yeah, it's a black wise. It doesn't do him any good here. Howling Mine. Time Walking into another couple of cards here. Still nothing out. A Time Vault out. And those Howling Mines, it also arms the mid-range deck to its teeth here. Another black wise. And the land tax. This is really reminiscent of the second game, actually. Both with that double mulligan from the Twiddle-Vault and that black wise into land tax opening from the mid-range deck. Okay, that's a Twiddle. That's a Time Vault and a Twiddle. Okay, a lot of thinking here, but mid-range allows it. Don't know if he had anything, perhaps a Force Spike. I could have blocked him. Anyway, second turn. Sovereign coming out. It's a bit mana-starved, it seems. Okay, passing the turn. Or perhaps he doesn't want to play any more lands because then the mid-range deck could just activate his land text. Now he can't because the Twiddle-Vault only has 2 lands out. Okay, this is strip mine. He should probably strip the City of Brass. It gives the Twiddle-Vault deck a lot of options here. Unless he can play something, obviously. No, he takes the Tundra, the Tropical Island. Okay, that surprises me. Then disenchanting the Time Vault. Makes sense. Doesn't want him to get into his combination here. Though the Twiddle-Vault deck has a lot of ways to get it back with regrowth and recalls. I actually think Dust to Dust would break this Twiddle-Vault archetype. Just getting the Time Vault out of the deck, out of the game completely. Oh, mind twisting him for 3 here, taking a Serendipity Freed and 2 Serra Angels. That was really, really brutal. And Twiddle-Vault kind of needed this because he was on the back foot in this opening. The Howling Mine still helps the mid-range deck. Okay, Sonic Blasting him here. Because he'll recuperate cards after that Mind Twist that much faster. Ouch, he took 2 points of damage from that double Blackwise as well. He has too many cards in hand from that Howling Mine. So the Twiddle-Vault is really, really on his knees here. Yeah, did a lot of thinking, cut a bit forward here. He has a tutor in hand, and is now tutoring for something. As a Black Lotus, 4 cards, man. Okay, that City of Brass is becoming really dangerous for him, and if the other guy gets an untapped phase, he has a Sonic Blast. And if the Twiddle-Vault can't counter it, that's game. Okay, sacking the Lotus here. Copying his Sol Ring. Yeah, he needs the mana as fast as possible. Twiddling his Underground Sea so that he can counter now. Okay. This is really a nail biter, this third game. There's the Blasters. Can he counter it? Yeah, using that Twiddle. He actually has a Red Blast in hand, so he could have Red Blasted it with that City of Brass. At 3 points of life now. I suppose he really needed that, those 3 colorless mana, or he wanted that. He really needs to set his combo off as fast as possible, while at the same time keeping below 4 cards. Or below 5 cards, or he will die to the Blackwises. Okay, recalling a couple of cards here. Getting a Twiddle and a Time Vault, that makes sense. It's his entire combination. And he uses the mana drain to do it so. Okay, using the City of Brass again to untap the Time Vault. If he passes the turn a second time now, I think the mid-range can kill him. So this is really coming down to the wire here. Okay, he drew into another Twiddle. So, standing on the edge of oblivion here. Okay, using it down to 2 life at this point. And again, remember that he needs to play his cards. If he gets too many cards in hand, the Blackwises will do him in. Okay. I think he drew into a Ancestral Recall and a Howling Mine. He needs to play the Ancestral Recall first though. Yeah, as he does here. Just to see what his options are. Trying to draw into another Twiddle. Sol Ring out. Using the Sol Ring for next Howling Mine and then Twiddling again. He's down to 1 life. In this third match of this epic set actually. Drawing 3 cards again. And look at this hand, there's so many reactive cards. If he gets too many of those, he can't combo off because the Blackwises will crush him. Does have a recall though, that's a good way to get rid of some of his stuff. And get into even more Twiddles. Okay, so he takes all the Twiddles he can. Just needs to really get the engine going. At the moment the engine is coughing and trying to keep on going, but at the same time it's very, very risky for him to get too many cards in hand, as said. Okay, he has a single Twiddle back in hand. If it passes, I think the mid-range can make the kill. Final Twiddle going off here. Needs to get as many cards away as he can. Okay, he uses Wheel of Fortune here. Really a big risk. Because he hasn't used that second turn yet. So, and if he does so, the Blackwises will kill him. So he needs to draw a hand that can... Okay, he did. That he can empty, so he can get down to 4 cards. And then mana shorting the final mana of his opponent. And now he taps the vault and takes his new turn. He's completely locked the other guy out here. And now 4 Howling Mines. I think he might make it. This is insane. It has a counterspell in hand, so I think, oh, is that? I don't know what that is. It could be. It could have just been that transmute artifact we saw at the deck tech earlier. Okay, Chaos Orb coming out. Again, remember he needs to empty his hand here or get some stuff out. Otherwise, the black whites will kill him. So he plays Time Twister. Oh yeah, he was getting out of cards in his library. So both players draw an entirely new hand. So again, not too many reactive cards or he dies. And he needs to draw Twiddles as well. A lot of things needs to happen here. Okay, that's the black one. Lotus, Tropical Island. Another Time-Vault hitting the table. Okay, needs to make it all work here with the mana, really think about it. Time walking here. 3 cards in hand, so the black whites won't kill him. Okay, now he draws another 5 cards from all the Howling Mines. He has an Ancestral Recall in hand, but no Twiddle. So he needs to draw into one as a Brain Geyser and a Wheel of Fortune. No Twiddle. Volcanic Island coming out. If ever he misses a beat, he dies. Regrowth, okay. Regrowth in the Time Walk, yeah. And Time Walking again. So he has an extra turn in the bank, but he needs to get rid of some cards or the black whites. As said, they will kill him. I think he has 6 cards in hand here. He could Mind Twist, I suppose, or Brain Geyser for 0. Okay, 3rd Time-Vault hitting the table. It needs to come in tapped though. Brain Geysers for 0, yeah. So now he's down to 3 cards, and he uses the Time Walk that he had in his bank, and remembers to tap his Time-Vault here. Okay, drawing another 5 cards. Twiddling. Can play a land. Mox, okay. And the land, he has 6 cards again. Needs to get his stuff out. The Wheel of Fortune. Mana Drain. Mind Twist. He could Mind Twist for 0, I suppose. Okay, no, he has something else here. He's counting it up. What does he have? Is it a Fireball, perhaps? What? What's that? I actually think that he Mind Twisted him for an unknown amount and then Mana Drained his own Mind Twist. And then that's a brilliant play. Now he has extra colorless mana for the next turn. And that's the Fireball. Wow, that was a brilliant play. Countering his own Mind Twist for extra mana and to get cards out of his hand. And then in his next turn he has a bunch of mana, both from the Mana Drain and from all the mana he has. So just fireballing the other guy out for 20 points of damage. And the Twiddle-Vault is coming in at the 9th place here, winning that 4th edition signed Mana Vault right there. Kudos to him. Excellent game, this one. Really coming down to the wire. The Twiddle-Vault being down to a single point of life with 2 black whites against him and still making it work. If he ever missed a beat, I think the mid-range would have taken it. Just snatched the victory with a single Sonic Blast, but just in the nick of time, the Twiddle-Vault made it work. So Twiddle-Vault coming in at the 9th place after the Swiss, and you, blue-white mid-range, at the 10th place. Congratulations to both players. And I'll be back with some more games. I think we're approaching the top 8 at this point. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.